Greetings, my vintage Christmas lighting friends. This is Scott, your Christmas lighting friend who will always try to help you fix and repair things. Another one of my crazy videos going on here. I'm getting ready to prepare a new rebushing video for rebushing bubble light trees. Like you see this naked one here, the poor thing. It lost all of its wonderful coating. Anyway, and now it's naked, poor thing. Some people actually think that this looks nice. I don't know, I guess. It has a certain structural element, but you know what? I'm old-fashioned. I want to see my bubble light trees with their fur on them. So anyway, all right, so the one thing I tried to remind myself when doing the rebushing video is to remind people to make double and triple sure that all of the wiring and the sockets are good on your tree before going through all the trouble of rebushing, only to find out you have a bad socket and it's too hard to replace the socket. Guess what? I got lucky in a way. Other people would not think so lucky. I found a socket that actually has a bad socket in it. It's going to be hard to show you. Maybe if I move it over here a little more into the light, I can show you. But the bottom of the socket, and this is always a common problem with these trees, is pushed out. Let me see if I can push it all the way up and out, and you'll see what I mean. All right, there it is. That bottom tab that's in the bottom of most sockets on this one is pushed out there. Okay, you see, it's been pushed out. Now, fortunately, it doesn't go all the way out the bottom. If it's hard to see here, let me see if I can light it better. There, that's better. Okay, so you see, it's kind of stays put down in there. And so this tree will keep working. The problem is, the more you screw something in and unscrew and screw, the more pressure that keeps getting put on that. It's going to make things want to start blinking, and you don't want these old lights to blink because they stand a good chance of burning out every time there's a flutter in their filament. So you really want to take care of this kind of problem well in advance. If you play with C6 strands, you'll often come across this problem. So anyway, I thought I would show how to fix this. And so it's for me, a pretty seasoned collector. It's a pretty fast fix, but I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a video on it. And then following this, I'm going to start filming how to rebush this poor naked little tree. So for starters, some people like to try to push the brass shell out from the back hole by putting like a wooden dowel up in there and hammering on it and stuff. You can try that. You can try that. You stand a good chance, though, of breaking this old, already baked up Bakelite. So I always suggest do not, if you can, especially if you're going to be a collector of C6 lighting, use the socket puller. This is a socket puller. It's a big, huge thumb screw like a carriage thing. And I believe I have a video, and I also have a sheet on how to make one of these, that if you want the sheet, you can always hit me in the comments and I'll email it to you, okay? It's good instructions on how to make one of these. I give you the list of the hardware you need, and you can put one of these together pretty fast. The only problem is this part here has to be epoxied on, so you probably need to wait a day till you use it, okay? Anyway, because this is nothing more than an old C6 light bulb like this right here with all the glass broken off, everything broken out. And when you're making one of these, you got to get rid of this this separator here too, the black stuff. You got to get rid of that. You got to get rid of that metal tab on the inside. As you can see by mine's completely flat as opposed to the way it would normally be, okay? Anyway, so, and then you just epoxy that onto the carriage bolt with the wing nut going on to the carriage bolt, or whatever this is, it's a thumb bolt, backwards, and then a big fat washer, okay, that won't come off. You got to make sure all the stuff is going to stay on, because I've seen people do these where the hole in the center is too big and this stuff keeps coming off, and you end up losing it, and then your socket puller gets kind of useless. All right, anyway, I keep digressing, you know. You'd swear I'm drinking during these videos. And, you know, several of the videos I have been drinking. But this one, not today, okay? Because we're trying to get this done. So here's what you do. Look, you take your socket puller now and you screw it in until it snugs up. You don't have to go super snug, okay? And then once it's just snug, you see where it stopped, okay? Then you just go like this and you start tightening down that washer, and that washer will just keep moving down and moving down and moving down. This is sometimes hard to do with my poor old hands. Uh-oh, I just broke a bubble light here. Let's get rid of that bubble light because I just broke that. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Okay, and eventually that will pop. You'll feel it when it freezes, and look, it just pulled all of that nice brass socket out. Now you can back this off a little bit like that and then unscrew this out of its socket shell. And now all you have to do is remove this. Again, that's kind of a problem. So here, the squeaking you hear in my video is my stupid low blood sugar machine telling me that my blood sugar is low. So don't mind it. It's not that low. It's just a little bit low. So as you can see, I'm holding this. Here, let me see if I can zero in on what I'm doing now a little bit better. And I'll move over there like that. Okay, how's that? That's a little bit better. Okay, and you see I have the outside solder joint right there. That's the outside solder joint. And look, you just unsolder that using a really good soldering iron. You just put it on the side like that. Come on. Hurry up and give up quickly. You know, it's amazing. The older solder they use just hangs on forever. You have to hold it on there for quite a while with this old solder, and eventually you'll feel it liquefy and it gives up and it pulls off. And if you look, they really didn't leave that much exposed wire. Okay, so while we're at it, now we're just going to go like this, and we're going to put this onto, you know what, it might be better to do this one from the other side. And we'll do it with a pair of needle nose pliers. Let me grab up here real quick. Okay, look, and I'm just going to grab that like that. The old what would have been the center tab. Am I showing it to you? Yeah. Okay. I forget if I'm not paying attention to what the actual video's doing. And you just keep heating that wire up until, look, it finally breaks free. And that old center tab is right there. And I removed it, and that's it. And so you're going to be like, oh, well, that's all hunky-dory, fine and dandy. What are you going to replace it with? Well, for those of us who are passionate old collectors, we save old sockets like this. As you can see, it's already been cut off of a line. It's a nice C6 shell. The brass shell looks good on the inside. Everything looks good. The tab looks fine. And guess what? You're going to get to use your socket puller again, like this. Okay, you put it in. Hello. Uh-oh, why is that spinning free? Oh, we don't like that. Oh, no, that's not a good socket. Okay, well then let's find another socket. Here's another one. I have a bunch of them on hand. I don't like the fact that keeps spinning. This should go in and tighten. See how it's tightening now? Okay, and then look, we're going to take this down again like we did before. And sometimes you need to grip somewhere else. I have really bad hands. So here, I'm going to just keep trying this. Sometimes you have to call in. You know what? Sometimes you have to call in help. So here's a big old pair of channel locks. And I'm going to try to grip that washer. Grip the washer good and tight. And now I'm going to tighten this bad boy down. And eventually you'll feel it let loose. And I believe I got it. Yeah, it did. Look, see, it pulled it out. And so now it's been pulled out. I'm sorry, with this thing being blown up so high, it's kind of hard. So now the other problem is backing this off now because I put it too tight in. And then backing this out like this. Watch. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Okay. And now we have to remove this one. So here, we can get rid of this old one. You can throw it away, recycle it. Well, you can't really recycle it because it's really no good. Let's try to remember, too, that this one is the one that goes to the bottom if you want to be original. Here, what I'll do is I'll put a little knot in the one that goes to the side. If you know if that means anything to you, to me it really doesn't, but to some people are really anal. So remember, the loose one goes to the bottom. All right, and so here we go. We're gonna hook this up. Can you see it? Yep, there it is. Okay, here. I'm trying to keep it in line for you so you can see all the stupid dumb stuff I'm doing. All right, and we're gonna try to heat this old solder up here. All right, and there I'm gonna put that on like that. And look, see, it just broke free. Okay, and now we're gonna do the bottom. We're gonna put this tip right on the bottom, right there, and look at that, it just pulled right out. Look at it split. Okay, and now I have a good socket to use. And while we're at it, we might as well just go ahead and try to solder it on and make this video actually shorter than all my other ones, which are now becoming 2 and 3 hours. So here I have solder, and I know the next question is going to be, what solder do you use? Right here, folks. You see that 6040 for what? Electrical repair solder, okay? It's 60% tin and 40% lead. This is generally what's used. The center of this is generally filled with the flux that you normally hear about for soldering. If you want a flux, you can. I tend to like liquid flux. Hold on, I'll see if I can get it. That way you see what I'm talking about. I use liquid flux, I don't know, because I like it. I find that I can position it better. And so look, I'm going to paint just a little bit on there and a little bit on the bottom. It'll help sort of clean it up. Flux actually helps the, I believe it's like almost like an acid that will help clean the surface so that the new item will attach to itself. Okay, or the new item will attach. So anyway, here we go. So what we're gonna do is, look, we're gonna clean off our, here, I keep forgetting I should show you this, but maybe I'll back out a little bit now, okay, so you can see. All right, there's my soldering thing with a wet sponge, and you do this, and you get your soldering tip shiny. See how shiny that is? You want it good and shiny. That way it's good and clean. All right, and then here's the solder. What we're going to do is we're going to tin it up with a little bit of solder on it, like that. We're going to hold this in place, and we're just going to go ahead and touch it on, and I'm getting it all in all the wrong spots. Of course, you know, for a video, what do you expect? And hopefully that went on, but you see it's also attached to the side, which you don't want. You do not want this going to the side. You want this one to go right, and all it's attaching to is the side. It's not attaching to the bottom. I really want this to go onto the side. So here, let's see what we got. There. I think I got it. And if you're worried, you can put a little bit more on. Here, let's go a little bit more. And we'll just put it on there. And we'll give it a little more solder, like that there. I think that's a good solder joint. I'll pull it in a minute and we'll see. Okay, now we have to solder the other side. Are you guys seeing this? I keep forgetting to keep an eye on the actual camera screen to make sure that I'm getting this and that my stupid hands aren't getting in the way. God, I hate making videos. I don't know why y'all make me do it. I really hate it. All right, so we're gonna try the side, okay, and we're gonna again tin this up with a little bit of solder on it, okay, and don't go way up high. Go down low like it was originally, and now you gotta push it and hold it to that brass so that the brass gets hot, okay. The solder gets hot, the wire gets hot, and you'll see it when it all liquefies. See how it's liquid? There you go. Oh, can you see it? Yeah, my fingers are on the way. And hopefully that'll do it. The problem with going way too high on taking the wire way too high is that when you go to push it back down into the shell, it'll get in the way. So you got to be very careful. All right, let's see. Bottom wire, good and tight. Side wire, good and tight. So this bad boy is not going anywhere. It's good and tight. You can pull on it, yank on it. The reason I tell you to yank on it is you want to make sure your solder joints did a great job soldering. I am the world's worst solderer. Please know that. But look at that. It's holding it. I'm yanking it. I really am. I'm putting a lot of pressure on it. All right. Now, all you have to do is sink this back down in. to its little shell. And I'm going to tell you, this is where your socket puller will come in handy again. Back it off, okay? Screw it into the socket till it snugs. You don't have to go really tight, okay? And I often suggest just going like this and putting it on a surface and giving it a little tap. You'll kind of feel it sink in. And then you can try pulling it. If you can still pull it out like that, you didn't get it. So sometimes you need to call in the heavy artillery. But be careful, because you don't want that to... God, wow. Is that not going to go in? I bet my solder joint's too big and not allowing it to go in. Here, let's back this all the way off and see if we can get that to sink down in a little bit better. All right, we're going to try. Oh, you know, I might have picked the wrong brass shell. Oh, no, that went down and did it. No, it didn't. Oh, and you know why? Because this brass shell is smaller than the original holder. So one thing you can try is either go get another brass shell that will fit it, and you might want to test it before you do it. Or these flanges on the outside, if you look, I'm going to try to just lightly bend them out so that hopefully they'll grab better when they go in. So here we go. We're going to flange them out a little bit more. If this doesn't work, then I'm going to stop the video, but you get the idea. And I'll try to find a better. See how that's grabbing now? It's grabbing much better. So hopefully that'll grab it now. Let's find out. So I'm going to put this in. I felt it snug. Okay, and we're going to try this one more time. Ah, I felt that grab. That grabbed. All right, and I hope. Now let's see if I can push it out from the bottom. No, you can't. Now the next thing you want to do is to test it, because sometimes when you bang it down like that, okay, you'll bang it too far. Okay, so I'm plugging in the tree. Hopefully everything's safe. See, this one's supposed to be on the top up here. And that's the one, believe it or not, in bubble light trees, the one on the top always seems to be the problem child, for sure. All right, so here's a light here. All right, and I believe all my light bulbs work, so we'll see. Hold on, where's my red one here? And let's put this in and see if this is going to work. And there it is. It lights up, you see? And if you jiggle it and move it, there's not going to be any flickering or anything else. So again, when you go to rebush a bubble light tree, you're going to an awful lot of trouble, guys. Make sure you test everything out. Look at all the wiring. Make sure it looks good. The other thing I'm going to forget to say in the rebushing video is, okay, after a tree has greenery on it, you can still sometimes change a socket out. You're almost always going to have to, because these old sockets go bad. Okay, so when you're going to regreen, you try to, look, tuck some of that extra wire that's all over the tree up inside of any hole. Make sure that, like here, under this socket, you got plenty of extra wire. Like, see how there's a whole bunch of extra wire here? Look, you're going to take that and you're going to tuck it way up in this branch so that should you have to replace this socket, you'll be able to pull it out enough out of this Bakelite shell and get it out far enough that you'll be able to solder a new brass shell on. Okay, I think that's it for this video. Is there anything else I can think of? Nothing that I can think of. Anyway, look at my tree. It's naked. Don't you hate that? I hate a naked tree. We need to bush this bad boy. Anyway, stay tuned because the rebushing video is coming up soon. Okay, have fun with your Christmas lights, everyone. Don't forget, check out my Facebook page. It's called Collectors of Antique, Vintage, and Modern Christmas Lights. That's all about Christmas lighting. My friend John also has a page called Bubble Light Enthusiast. That's really good. And there are several other sort of Christmas Facebook pages that will always welcome you and allow you to come in and have fun with your Christmas stuff. So remember, Collectors of Antique, Vintage, and Modern Christmas Lights. Okay, hope to see you there.